Hi guys, it's Tuesday, it's social studies. I just wanted to go over with you today. I'm going to give you kind of a long lecture of notes, uh, and then there will also be a PowerPoint on this video, and you'll have to answer 10 questions. And so the only thing you have to turn in today is your answers for the 10 questions. But it is kind of long. I want you to sit back and listen, and I'm going to go ahead and attach some key concepts and the PowerPoint. So when you're done, if you want to look at the PowerPoint to answer the questions and look at some of the key concepts, but it won't be the whole thing that I'm talking to you about. So just be very aware. Then on Thursday, what you'll be doing is you'll be doing some reading on your own, and you'll watch a brain pop. So we'll do that on Thursday, and then we'll be done for this week on the decline of ancient Rome and the fall of ancient Rome. That's what this week is. And then next week we'll start on Roman mythology. So give you kind of a heads up of what we're doing. All right, so sit back and just listen. All right, the decline of the Roman Empire. There was a great variety in the quality of the emperors who succeeded Augustus. The office of the emperor was originally designed to be hereditary, passed down from parent to child. But from the start, there was confusion as to which family member would inherit the empire. Some emperors proved to be cutthroat or insane or both. Cutthroat means being very ruthless and going after people. Over time, the military came to play an enormous role in selecting who would become emperor. Augustus never had a son of his own, so his stepson, Tiberius, became emperor after his death. Tiberius abolished the assembly. He was a capable general who strengthened the empire, extending the frontier into the north. However, Tiberius appeared to dislike ruling and gradually retired to the island of Capri. Caligula was the son of a famed military leader, Germanicus, as well as the nephew and adopted son of Tiberius. He earned the name Caligula, meaning little boots, from the Roman army as a child because he wore a miniature soldier's uniform around the military camps with his father. Under Caligula, the Romans experienced 2 years of good, effective rule, interrupted by a severe illness, and followed by 2 years of horrible rule. During the end of Caligula's reign, he lashed out at members of his family and other perceived enemies. He exiled some, he killed some, and forced others to commit suicide. Caligula was assassinated by the members of the guard. Claudius became emperor because, as the brother of Germanicus and uncle of Caligula, he was the last adult male of the family. Emperor Claudius brought Britannia, which later became England, under Roman control, as well as several kingdoms in the east. He opened the Senate up to provincials. According to the census of the empire conducted under Claudius, the Roman Empire in 48 contained 5,984,072 citizens. Guys, don't forget, who were the citizens? Only males. So think there was a lot more people because there were children, there were females, there were slaves. These were just male citizens. Emperor Nero was considered to be a tyrannical ruler. He came into power after his mother allegedly poisoned his predecessor, Claudius. Nero himself went on to kill his own mother, his stepbrother, and 2 of his wives. He also killed his teacher, the famous philosopher Seneca. Anybody know of a movie recently? It's getting kind of older, but there's a main character named Seneca. It'd be interesting if you know it. A fire broke out in Rome in 64, and Nero was accused of setting the fire and just sitting around, fiddling around while the city burned. Nero blamed the fire on a new religious group known as Christians. Following years of harsh and scandalous rule, Nero was forced to commit suicide. The year of the four emperors took place, a brief period of civil war that followed the death of Emperor Nero. Four emperors ruled in quick succession, one after another: Galba, Otho, Vitus, and Vespasian. The confusion over choosing an empire illustrated some of the problems of the imperial succession. Emperor Vespasian built the Colosseum in Rome. The Colosseum, which still stands in Rome today, was the place where gladiators' combats were held. Under Vespasian's rule, the first Jewish revolt took, and the second Jewish temple in Jerusalem and in Roman province of Judea was destroyed. Okay, you guys might want to go to Google Earth and look at the Colosseum. It's really cool. It's still there. It's, you know, in ruins, but it's still there. Think about how long ago that was. Vespasian was succeeded by his son Titus, then by his son Domitian. Trajan was born into a non-patriarchal family in what is now Spain. As emperor, he began a massive public work program in Rome, which included Trajan's Columns, Trajan's Forum, and Trajan's Market. Kind of liked naming things after himself. He oversaw the expansion of the empire to its greatest extent and is considered to have been a great emperor. Britannia's Caligula's citizenship, Claudius Emperor's enemies, Germanicus heredity, Imperial Judah military Nero, Patrium Primus entered provincial Senecas, and then tyrants. It's kind of a list of how things went. Okay. So I wanted to show you, so this is the arena. This is what we're talking about. So Christian martyrs were in the arena. Look at them right here. And this is where they were fed to the lions. You've heard the stories about the Christians being fed to the lions. Okay. Gladiators before the emperor in the arena. So here's the arena again, and all these gladiators came in. Now, gladiators were guys that went in and fought, okay? So they're showing you that. All right, Rome in the time of Trajan's time. Showing you this map here, and this is where we're gonna start some of the questions, but I'm gonna continue with just telling you what's happening first, okay? Emperor Hadrian strengthened the empire's defenses. Hadrian's wall was built under him, separating Roman territory in Britannia from the Picts, which is roughly now Scotland. So they started gaining more area, but then they actually put up walls and said, okay, this is ours, this is not yours, you know, kind of thing. Under Hadrian, the Romans put down the Second Jewish Revolt, also known as Bar Kokhba Revolt, or the Second Jewish Roman War. The revolt was led by Simon Bar Kokhba, and many people believed the Jews believed he was to be the Messiah. Obviously not. Okay. Following the defeat of the revolt, Jews were forced to leave Jerusalem and relocate elsewhere in the empire. Many historians date this event as the official start of the Jewish diaspora. Emperor Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic philosopher who wrote Meditations. The end of his rule marks the end of Pax Roma. Marcus Aurelius was succeeded by his son, Commodius. The Richard Harris and the Joaquin Phoenix characters in the Oscar-winning Russell Crowe film Gladiators are very loosely based on Marcus Aurelius and Commodius. Rome suffered from a century of chaos following the death of Marcus Aurelius, known as the crisis of the 3rd century. Diocletian was the first emperor in 100 years to properly restore order and end the violence. He operated an absolute ruler who ended all personal liberties. He increased the Roman bureaucracy for more effective administration. He divided the empire into 2 administrative realms, East and West. This was the first step in the creation of what would become 2 separate empires, the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire. Emperor Constantine moved the capital from Rome to Byzantine, renaming the city Constantinople. Today, the city is known as Istanbul, which is located in modern Turkey. Constantine's mother, Helena, had converted to Christianity, popular young religion within the empire. With the Edict of Milan in 313, Christianity was legalized, ending centuries of intolerance. And on his deathbed, Constantine himself converted to Christianity. Justina was a powerful emperor of the Eastern Byzantine Empire, headquartered in Constantinople. His wife was Theodora, an intelligent former courtesan. Justina was able to reunite the Eastern and Western empires for a time, but it didn't last. His most lasting legacy was the Corpus Juris Civilis, or the Justine Code, which rewrote the codified Roman law. The Justinian Code is still the basis for civil law in several countries. Known as the Plague of Justinia, bubonic plague severely hurt the Byzantine Empire during the emperor's reign. Although Justinian himself became sick, he recovered. Recovery from the Byzantine Empire took hundreds of years. Emperor Diocletian had believed that dividing the empire for administrative purposes would strengthen it. He was wrong. Once Constantine set up Constantinople as the capital city, the East-West split deepened. The Western Roman Empire officially ended in 476, when the last emperor, Romulus Augustus, was deposed by the barbarian Odoacer. The Eastern Roman Byzantine Empire lasted until 1453, when it was conquered by the Ottoman Turks. So why did Rome fall? Well, various economic, military, political, and social reasons contributed to the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Rome experienced an enormous gap between the rich and the poor. Impoverished workers became tied to the land and being sold as land was sold. Fewer members of the lower class couldn't afford to buy goods. There was no manufacturing or no purchasing power. Manufacturing and trade declined. Large estates became self-sufficient, further hurting manufacturing and trade. Under the Roman Republic, Roman armies were servants of Rome. Under the empire, armies made and unmade emperors. Furthermore, the army relied on barbarian troops, which were not ultimately loyal to Rome, and which could not be counted on to fight their fellow barbarians. These mercenaries were interested in obtaining loot, not in defending Rome. or further Rome's interest. Rome suffered from an overall decline in patriotism. Though Rome was in theory democratic, democracy did not exist in reality. Citizens lost their tie or their voting rights within the state. Patriotism became unloyal to the emperor, not to Rome. Many emperors did not inspire respect and a loyalty. They lacked orderly imperial succession. The East-West split into two empires created yet another problem regarding loyalty. Social reasons for the decline of Rome included population decline, lack of public services and intellectual pursuits, and religious divisions. The population of the empire declined due to hunger, plagues, war, and other causes. People dedicated themselves to public service and intellectual pursuits. Instead, people spent their leisure time watching chariot races and gladiator contests. Okay, so looking at the next. So here's a modern map. When you go and you look at this map, you can compare it to a modern map to be able to answer those questions. This next one is the wall surrounding Rome began with Emperor Aurelian. So Rome started this wall around the city. It's just an example of showing you. So now the next one is another map showing during the different migrations. So you're going to have a few questions that you're going to have to go back to this map to answer, okay? All right, why is ancient Rome so important to global history? Well, administrator of the vast empire, Christianity's growth and spread, architecture, engineering, historians, literature, Roman law, Romanic languages, and the transmission of Greek culture. All right, so that's quite a bit of information. See, that's quite a bit of information. I want you guys to go ahead and make sure you read the key concepts. That will kind of give you a little bit, but today was more of a class that I was just lecturing. So you have some notes to go back by, and you can look at the PowerPoint. All right, guys, you're doing great. I'm proud of you. Keep working hard, and I will talk to you later. Bye. All right. 10